Good afternoon, families and scholars. I wanted to send this video so that you are aware that we did start our units for research. It's our last unit for the school year. So the 6 weeks is all about research. And I want you to know that your scholars are off to a great start. Majority of your scholars are off to a great start with their research. We do have a couple of students who need some help and support with getting caught up on their deadlines, but I do want to share the deadlines with you so that you are aware. And I wanted to share some of the tasks that your scholars have done already and a few that are coming up. The due dates are Wednesday and today. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see what your scholars see in Google Classroom. You can see a couple of the names. So we are researching 78 men around the world. We chose 78 men around the world so that no one is researching the same person, so that we get to hear during presentations, we get to hear about different men that your scholar may have not researched on their own. So there are a very, very diverse group of men your scholars are researching. They're tasked with researching about them, presenting it in a research paper format, and then presenting via poster, video, website, podcast, and I have one scholar who is making a book. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see the deadline and some of the tasks so far. Okay, so here's my Google Classroom. We're in the research unit. This is my substitute classroom. So substitute because Canvas is our main classroom, but we have been using, for the second part of the spring session, we've been using Google Classroom. So this is the research unit, and if you look in descending order, the most recent is at the top. If you go down, the oldest assignment is here. So it began on the week of April 19th. And I changed the title from 70 influential men to 78 men around the world. So you can see who your scholar is researching. This was a research and planning template that I allowed your student to use to research, to get more details about the person that they're researching, to plan out how they want to present it, all of the hard labor, I would call it, at the beginning of the unit, so that way when they got here at this point, about 3 weeks out, they would be working on writing, editing, peer editing, and then working on their final presentation. So I'm going to go back to classwork. I've also, in the stream, I posted a brain pop video. It's a little short 4-minute video on plagiarism so that your scholar, I know that you get lots of information from online sources. So I want to make sure they're not plagiarizing, because we don't want to run the risk of plagiarizing and then not getting credit for that research paper. Part 2 is here, and the titles match the attachment that I'm sharing with you via email. So if you have a hard time finding it, first ask your scholar, because I've been going into great details and modeling how to work on each component so they're really familiar with the assignments. But if they are not able to give the information that you need, you're welcome to contact me by text message or email. If you text me after 4 p.m., I have a delay in response because I'll have my children. But if you email me, I will respond to you as quickly as possible, anywhere between 8 a.m. to 4, sometimes 4:30 at the latest. So this is part 2. This is the planning calendar, which we started the middle of April and all the way to the end of April. You can see those learning goals. What the purpose of us researching, I'll show you that so you can see. These are our learning outcomes. We want your scholars to be able to write a research essay. The essential question was the purpose of research, and our unit goals are here. And then how can research confirm or change our current perspective? So many of your scholars, some of the people that they're researching, they've never heard of. So I'm hoping they gain new insight and appreciation. Whether they agree with the person's personal lifestyle or not, it's not really up for debate. They can have their own personal opinions. But can you research someone, relay the information, retell it, and then be able to synthesize and process those information? So this research project is a little bit more than just, can you tell us facts about them? Your scholar has had to, probably the most challenging portion of this unit is being able to synthesize, summarize the information, be able to retell that to your entire class of peers, and then be able to say how your perspective changed over time. It's probably going to be the most challenging. So if you want to allow your scholars to practice at home, they can. I would empower them to do so as well. We'll have practice rounds of them just presenting. I know some students feel more comfortable that they can come in with me during lunch, or with a group of them can come in during lunch and then present before their actual dates. Presentation will begin. Let me get my calendar. Presentations will begin on May 19th for A-Day. It'll be May 19th and May 22nd. For B-Day scholars, they will begin also on May 19th, May 23rd, and our last day for presentation will be May 24th, because our last day of school is on May 25th. I want to have them graded and give them feedback before they leave for the school year, so they know where they stand before they leave. So if you just scroll down, you'll see a little bit what we know. We talked about primary source versus secondary sources. This is where we start to brainstorm. This was our part 2, and when it was due, it was on April 28th, so that one is now overdue. The scholar can still turn it in, but they'll get points off for it being late. I checked their sources to make sure they have sources. And then on May 1st, start synthesizing new information, creating outlines, and then your scholar's outline is due today. That sounds like a lot of information, so I put all of that in a image form so you guys can see the titles with the due dates. I also have it written in my classroom so they can see it on the whiteboard in the back of my classroom. I'm also referring to it throughout our time together. Step 3. Step 3 was creating detailed level 1, 2, and 3 questions. So we went from basic questions like, who is Tom Holland, to who is Tom Holland and what has he done significant in theaters, to level 3, who is Tom Holland and what impact has he made in diversity in movies. So we want to make sure that they're able to create questions that can help stem new ideas, and then be able to generate new thoughts, ideas, and then be able to retell that in written form, as well as a creative, like a website, podcast, video. I have some students making posters. Tell that your student has lots of fun with it, but it can get a little overwhelming, and I don't want that. So what I have made is a brief outline of what the assignments are. Again, they are in, if you look in ascending order, the oldest is at the bottom, the most recent is at the top. So they wrote their outlines, they wrote their outlines. They started on May 1st. They created their outlines, and they used their outlines to write their research papers. That's here. That's step number 5, writing their research paper. Step 6 is editing it, and then allowing 2 peers to peer edit their papers. And they'll turn it in by May 12th. I'll give them feedback and grades. I'll be grading using this rubric. What I will change is the actual point value so they can see how many points is for each section. So we have accomplished all the way up down to limited. Accomplished is the highest score. Okay, I'm going to share with you the outline of what your scholar has saw. So here, the very top, number 1, this was the research planning guide part 1. This was due on April 28th. Part 2, the research planning guide part 2 is due on May 10th. The research planning guide step 3 is also due May 10th. Creating their outline and submitting it is due today by 3:40 p.m. Them writing their research paper and then using the assigned Google Docs, that is also due May 12th. Editing their research paper and giving at least 2 teammates feedback, that is due. Their edited version of their research paper is due on May 12th. And then creating their research poster, Google Slides, website, podcast, etc., whatever they chose to be able to present the information is due on, at the latest, May 24th. So they can present, they'll get graded for presenting, and then also submitting whatever their article is, whether it's a video, podcast, website, or Google Docs. Google Slides. Let me minimize this one. This is the document that I'll be sharing with you via email. Close out. Again, everything that they need, and also some examples. I created an outline and shared it with them under create your outline. My outline is here, and your scholar's outline should look similar to mine's, but it does not have to look exactly like mine's, but it should be similar. So we begin with a warm-up with a blueprint. I told students pretty much their outline is a blueprint for their research, and they can use their outline to make their research paper. So our goal, our learning objective on May 1st was scholars will create a detailed outline for the research paper. 6.10 BI. I use example of Mae Jemison. We use Roman numerals to talk about the main 5 main topics of Mae Jemison, and I use 2 level questions as a model for your scholar because they did make level questions during step 2. And we discussed that they can use their level questions as their topic or subtopic. So I said my first paragraph is going to be about who is Mae Jemison, her childhood, siblings, and how she became a lover of books. My second paragraph is going to be all about her family life. Third, her education. Fourth, motivation to become an astronaut. And a subtopic, her first mission to space. My last paragraph is what do we learn from her exploration in space and how can we use what we learn. And then lastly, we want to make sure we talk about her impact on the world. So your scholar essentially is making a chronological research paper. So they should go from the beginning. So childhood, upbringings, family life, all the way to paragraph 5. Where are they right now? If your scholar has a person who is deceased, remind them to please talk about what they did before they were deceased, and then how that connects back to us. If your scholar is having a hard time with paragraph 5, I have no issues helping them in class. I am seeing that most of your scholars are doing a great job starting. So when they get to the middle, I need a little bit more support and help. But I have been helping them in class. I do not expect them to have homework because we're doing so much in class. But if your scholar does feel like they need to do some things outside of school, they can with you. They're more than welcome to. For the podcast, if you're not comfortable with them bringing their materials for the podcast to class, they're also welcome to record at home. Just if you would please, just remind them to check in with me so I'm getting their grade so that they are not lacking grades at the end of 6 weeks. This is a major grade because I'm not giving them any more tests or quizzes. So the parts of this assignment for this research unit, these are major and minor grades. These are major and minor grades. They're not classwork grades. So these are major grades. Things like the brainstorming, this is a classwork grade. This is not a major grade. This is a classwork grade. But things like part 2 and 3 with actually having to create level questions, those are minor grades, which are way more than classwork. So just check in with your scholar and then just remind them to talk to me if they have questions about their grades or if they need extra support. I'm here to help and support you guys. I thank you for your partnership during this school year. I'm so grateful for you guys. But remember, if you have questions or if your scholar is feeling overwhelmed, they feel like they need some more support, we are testing this week. So if your scholar needs some support during this time, I am more than happy to partner with you and ensure I'm making space and creating space for them to work during class time. If you need me, please contact me by text message or email. I typically during class, I'm not checking my emails during class, but I am more connected to my phone during class because I have to keep up with the time and how much time we have left in class. So if you need to contact me during school hours, you are more than welcome to. My office hours are 2:05 to 3:40. That's when I'm really checking my emails and responding to parents and other emails that I get from administrators. So if you desire to speak to me by email, I will respond to you during that time. Hope that this message finds you well. Cannot wait to see you guys at the award ceremony. If you are not have not received the information just yet, award ceremony is on May 25th. I have to double check the time. I believe it's at 10, but let me double check. It might be 9. Let me pause for a second. I believe that it is 10 a.m., but let me check. Okay, correction. Award ceremony is at 9 a.m. on May 25th, and it will be in our gymnasium. So I hope this message finds you well. I'll see you guys at the award ceremony. Thank you.